So welcome everybody. We are here with our February Customer of the Month, and we're really excited because it is a joint presentation. So they are a customer of both Concord Scientific and Gentech Scientific, and it is Cellibre. So it is great to be here in person in San Diego. So I'm gonna introduce the customer. So we have Spiros and Nicky. If you could please tell us your full names and titles.
I'm Spiros Kambourakis, Chief Technology Officer of Cellibre.
I'm Nicky Caiazza, Chief Scientific Officer of Cellibre.
And of course, as our special guest interviewer, we have Alexis Gonen from Concord Scientific. So here she is, our local representative from San Diego. All right, so let's kick this off. First thing I'm going to direct to you, Spiros, is tell us about your business and your role with Cellibre.
So yeah, I'm the Chief Technology Officer. I oversee some of the scientific developments of the company, mainly on the protein biochemistry and protein engineering, and also the analytical group that you're probably mostly interested in. What Cellibre is doing is a synthetic biology company with focus in, as of now, making cannabinoids through fermentation. I don't know if you want me to go a little deeper in this, but
I think that would be really interesting. Yeah, please.
Yeah, the whole idea is that we are developing a microorganism, a particular microorganism that is proprietary to our company, to make cannabinoids. Right now, we're focusing in mostly of the rare cannabinoids, like THCV, CBN, and the like. And we are just about actually to launch a couple of our new products by the end of this year, early 2023. So we're very excited about the progress of the company. Mind you, the company actually is only like 2.5 years old. Mm-hmm. So we went from nothing to a product very quickly.
That's super interesting. Nicky, can you expand upon that a little more? Maybe for more of the layman's terms, like,
Absolutely.
Hey, what is Cellibre to your average guy on the street?
Absolutely. I think as Spiros was mentioning, right, we're a synthetic biology company. He mentioned that cannabinoids were our first application in synthetic biology, but what we really are is a cellular manufacturing company, right? If you look at what we do, if you look at nature, right, there's millions of products that nature produces on a regular basis every single day, right? Some of these products are very valuable. Some of these products have unique and interesting applications. Some of these molecules are very hard to access for the general person, just due to the fact that they're produced in low abundance in nature or difficult to manufacture from natural sources. And so our philosophy is that we can take these natural products that are, have difficult supply chains naturally and take these supply chains and move them from their traditional agricultural form and move them into biological organisms that we can grow in fermentation tanks. And so we can basically turn cells into mini manufacturing factories. And again, Spiros was mentioning his job, or not his job, but his expertise is really looking inside that factory and figuring out the individual machines that need to be optimized, how they need to be improved. Sort of my role in layman's terms is to look at the entire factory and figure out where those machines go, how to optimize those machines and get them into the factory, what factory to actually put them into in terms of what cell backgrounds to use and how to engineer those cells into factories.
That's a challenging job right there. There's so many different cell divisions, and to do that, I've been in that lab in that position. It's incredible the work that you guys are doing and the instruments that you have in your lab. What's your favorite instrument in the lab? Like, what's your favorite, like?
Oh, I know what he's in.
Yeah, my favorite instruments are the fermentation equipment, right? I mean, because that is where the factory actually, is. I mean, if you look at the individual cell being a factory, the unique thing that we have is the fact that our cells can actually replicate. One factory can become 2, 4, and so on and so forth. But in order to sort of replicate our factories, we have to use fermentation. And the fermentation vessel, the fermentation mechanics, etc., the bioprocess conditions are where those factories multiply, where the hard work that we do in the lab actually pays dividends.
So I mean, sustainability and stuff is a pretty big buzzword, and it seems like you guys are using biology almost as a manufacturing technology.
Correct.
And you're in this biotech hub. You're in San Diego. is anybody else doing this? I mean, are you guys completely unique in the field, or are you one of several, or how are you different from your competitors?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there are plenty of synthetic biology companies in this space all over the U.S., all over the world, for that matter. In terms of, it's a great idea, it's a great approach, right? And I think there are a lot of folks that are actually doing this, and it ranges from commodity chemicals to pharmaceuticals to food and nutrition applications to specialty chemicals. You name it, there's likely a synthetic biology solution that can be applied into those different applications. And so, in that regard, I think, there are a lot of companies doing synthetic biology. I think our approach is a little bit unique in the fact that we like to think about the application, what is the product we're trying to make, and then go out and find a novel cell type and engineer that cell type, we call it starting closer to the finish line. So if we can think about what attributes in a cell would be beneficial to make that product, and go out and find a natural cell that has already chopped some of that wood for us and start us closer to the finish line, then it's less engineering that we have to do. I think a lot of other synthetic biology companies use organisms that are very traditional, that have been used in the laboratory for years and years, just because they're easier to engineer and you can make progress a little bit faster without having to develop tools and techniques and approaches. But that is one of our areas of expertise, the fact that we can work with non-traditional organisms, develop those tools, techniques to engineer them rapidly, and then employ those to start closer to the finish line. And as Spiros said, in 2 years go from ideation to nearly commercial.
So I mean, you sort of answered my next question, but I mean, in general, like, what makes you guys so awesome? I mean, what makes Cellibre so awesome?
Well, I would say the people. I think we have a fantastic science team. The company basically started when we grew quite a bit right now, but about 50% of the people who are working here today, they used to work with me and Nicky in our previous company, which is called Synthetic Genomics. Actually, they just recently changed their name. What is it called now?
Viridos.
Viridos, right. So it's a company that was founded by Craig Venter, one of the celebrity scientists. He was one of the early scientists who sequenced the human genome in the late 90s. Mm-hmm. So he had started this company. We were all working there. And about 2 years ago, when me, Nicky, and Ben decided that it's time to move on and start our own company, a lot of these people came with us.
So people even though you've only been around for a couple of years, these are like trusted souls, right?
So I've been the director, for example, for Strain Engineering, June, and his team, half of his team, we've been working with them for 10 years now. So these are people that are, very experienced, working in a variety of different projects, and part of the reason we're so successful because we have such a fantastic scientific team. And even these days are very difficult to find good people to hire because it's so competitive, the space is so competitive. Even after our round day, which happened late last year, we've been very fortunate to hire a lot of very good people. So I think people is really our strongest, attribute.
That's a great answer. Anything to add to that, Nicky?
No, I think culture, right? I mean, that's one of our strongest attributes, as we've already hit on. Most of us have been working together for, upwards of 10 years or knowing each other for that long. Right. I think we sort of, get along real well here. We work hard, but I think everyone has each other's back, so to speak, right? People communicate real well. I think it's, it's a great environment, I think, for us here at Cellibre. I think we're a pretty casual bunch, right? We like to laugh, we like to joke, we like to kid around. We get together after work. Tonight, for instance, there's game night. People stick around and play games after work. I think, we have a pretty nice policy here in terms of vacation and, letting people do what they need to do as long as they can communicate and get their work done. We trust them, in terms of their work ethic and ethos, to be good team players.
Now, I have this sort of at the end of my interview, but I'm going to throw it in now. Are you guys hiring? Do you need anybody anywhere? And you just done a great plug. Someone's going to watch this. Do you need scientists? Do you need a lab tech? Do you need a new person in shipping?
That's a great, we're always looking for, talented folks, right?
Okay.
you never know, right? This day and age, right? You know, we are very lucky, as Spiros said, we've been very successful hiring so far, so to speak. We've gotten, you know, we've been advertising and bringing in the talent we want, but we're also very opportunistic. If the right resume, you know, comes across at the right time,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
we'd love, get in touch with us. We're always looking to, you know, we want to build the best team we can.
Okay, so hopefully everybody heard that. If you're an elite scientist, apply at
Well,
Cellibre.
I can feel that here too, when, you know, walking in and the warmth of the building here and how you guys interact with each other. And I would say, you know, especially in science, collaboration is everything. And so if your team is really, you know, communicating and hanging out all the time, those are the best labs to be a part of.
Right.
Absolutely.
So they've got a lot of neat equipment here, and hopefully we'll have some photos as well along with this so our viewers can see. But can you talk a little bit about your lab and specifically like the instruments that you're running here, kind of your workhorses and
Right.
just some of your equipment?
Yes, so, you know, just like any, you know, biology/biochemistry lab, we have all the, you know, standard equipment that everybody would need, like shakers and centrifuges, and, you know, we have, you know, PCR machines. All these are pretty standard. Every
Yeah.
company has those. They need to have them. We were, as I said, when we left synthetic genomics, because the group we were all working, we knew that synthetic genomics was actually going to shut this down completely and liquidate all the equipment. So we actually made them an offer, and we purchased a lot of equipment from synthetic genomics that we have equipment now that we used to work with back then.
So at least you know the history and how
Right.
the person
So
treated
actually
it,
equipment
so-
that I bought when I was
Yeah, right,
so,
okay, good.
so we were very fortunate in that matter. So, but I would say, you know, and part of this purchase was actually our fermenters.
Okay.
We have a very nice fermentation lab. We have right now 5 2-liter fermenter tanks. We just bought 3 more. And when we move into our new building, into our new location, something we haven't touched upon, we're just about to move out of this building. This is a 5,500 square feet. We just leased a 17,000 square feet building where we're going to put also a small pilot plant that we will have a couple of larger fermenters, like say 500 to 1,000 liter. So in that lab, we're going to build a very nice fermentation lab, probably 12 to 16 2-liter flasks and the larger equipment. So I would say very well equipped. Even today, we have those 5 fermenters that, like Nicky said, is absolutely required for us to be able to know that any bug that we engineer in the lab, if it doesn't perform in the fermenter, is useless. So, and the other one, of course, analytical lab.
That's what we really want to hear about.
So yes, because again, getting off synthetic genomics, we bought 2 HPLC stacks with QTOFs attached to it. Like these are very high-powered mass spectrometers.
Yep.
So we have those, and then since then we bought a couple more equipment from Concord and Gentech. So I think we have a pretty good, very well-equipped lab.
I would agree. We just took a really nice tour, and I don't know if you caught that they are expanding. So they leased some new space, and they're going to be triple
Right.
their size. When are you moving? About 6 months or so.
The plan is towards the end of the year.
Okay, so it's happening pretty soon. Do you recall what led you to work with Gentech and Concord? Do you remember if you worked with Gentech first or Concord first, and just sort of how that happened? Did you Google us, or what was the process?
Yeah, we worked with Concord first.
Okay.
Because after we moved into our location here, we wanted to buy a couple new equipments. The first one we bought actually was a GCMS.
Okay.
And at that time, you start by looking, how can I buy this, and do some internet searches. But I think actually I found Concord because I found this nice looking instrument I wanted to buy on eBay. And then I saw, oh, that's a local company, because you can see the company. So I contacted Conquer and Fatigue, and then we started this relationship, and I actually bought my first GCMS from Conquer.
That is a cool story. Now I heard Fatih has actually been in your lab.
He has been.
All right, you want to tell everybody about that?
Yes, Fatigue came in and with his technician and installed the GCMS first.
Okay.
And then he came again, and because we had a power outage, and we didn't have this on the backup power. We didn't know at the time. And we got some oil from the pump all over the MS. That was a big mess. And Fatih picked up the instrument. He was very nice to pick it up and fixed it and cleaned it and brought it back. So, appreciate that.
Okay.
It's out there in the lab. It's
still there.
Yes,
working.
it's right inside and it's running great. So
It's
yeah.
running great.
So that is one of the offerings. Spiros touched on it pretty well, but we do service instruments, even if you didn't buy it from us, which in this case they did. But if you've got something that's broken or out of
Right.
warranty, Gentech or Concord will take a look at it and try to help you if needed. And you're more on you had not a ton of interaction, right, with Gentech and Concord?
No, yeah, I have,
Yeah.
not in terms of equipment, right?
Of equipment,
Yeah.
right, okay, perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
PCRs though.
Yeah,
Yes, they just have PCRs.
Yeah,
Well,
so
definitely
let me
have a
know.
look as
We've
we
got
grow,
some
yeah.
qPCRs and PCRs.
excellent.
So when you got these, the GC and then I think you have a couple HPLCs, what was the issue you were trying to solve or problem? Was it just capacity, we need more equipment, or do you have a specific thing you were working on?
So the GCMS, when we bought it for a specific reason. It is a certain type of analysis that we are doing in our cells. Basically, we're measuring the fat content, the oils inside our organism. So we needed this particular instrument.
Okay.
We're going to be using it for other purposes as well, like cannabinoids and the like. So that's why we actually needed the GC initially.
Okay.
Well, the HPLCs right now, especially the ones connected to the MS, are very useful to us because we can not only identify molecules that we're making with MS, but also it can increase our throughput quite a bit. Because right now we're generating like hundreds, if not like thousands of samples per month.
Yeah, Alex was telling me he's running 600 samples right now,
Right.
and he thinks he ran 10,000 samples on our
Yes.
instruments this week. So that's
Right.
incredible, the throughput that
Yes.
you guys are doing.
Because, we have to. I mean, for example, in the protein engineering side, we generate protein libraries
Yeah.
that we need to screen. Nicky and his team generate a lot of new strains that they need to be screened. And then the fermentation lab is running constantly generating. So every group essentially in the lab generates a lot of samples. So for us to have very quick results back and very reliable results is critical. So that's why analytical is actually probably one of our most important labs in here.
Yes. Analytical is their most important lab. I hope everybody got that. No. What's your favorite thing about working with Concord and Gentech?
I think the responses. I mean, when you talk to somebody from in your company, you get an immediate response. Friendly people. We just bought an HPLC stack from you guys, and the technician was here for like a couple of days installing it. There were some issues, just like when you buy, used equipment, which ended up not being due to the actual equipment, but to the software that we had. So I would say, friendly people and willingness to do the job and get it done before you leave our offices.
We appreciate that. We do our best to make sure that you guys have an instrument that's fully working and ready to go
Right.
when it's installed, and we do take pride in caring for our instruments.
Because also we can have instruments downtime. We can have an instrument
Exactly.
sitting there idle. I mean,
As scientists ourselves, we understand
Right.
that need right
I mean,
away.
Analytical chemistry, it's sort of like the backbone of what we do, right? It's there, it's important, it's critical. It often doesn't get the sort of attention or the
not as
emphasis or
sexy
as
as
some of the other,
But in that,
but
that's
in
your
that
backbone.
regard, the only times things come to my attention are if we have problems, right?
Right.
And the fact that I don't hear a lot of these problems with our instruments, with our capabilities, when things go down, how we turn them around, how we get things fixed. To me, that's all a great sign.
That's great. So you guys are a startup. Do you have any tips, suggestions for other people who are trying to make it, in this biotech world? Other
I don't know, Nicky.
tips, suggestions for others?
I think, just make it happen, right? I think that would be my, having
Talk
been in
is
this
cheap.
industry, having
do
been in
it.
this industry, having, starting our own company, being here at Cellibre, it's a dream, it's a great thing, it's something we've, always wanted to do, right? But,
Yeah.
the sort of transition from, working, for someone else or working in a non-startup environment or to then going out on your own and starting a company. And, there's no real, I'm just gonna wake up today and it's gonna happen, right? You just gotta do
Gotta
it,
do
right?
it.
And so, take the risk. And, we have a lot of followers that came with us, that believed in us, and, we believe in them, right? Our team is great, and, trust your team, and, and let your team trust you. I think that's the biggest thing from people's standpoint, and from, find something that you love to do, right? And then you're having
If
fun.
you're gonna go for a
every day.
startup, you
Yeah.
make sure it's your passion, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna work your
Yeah,
butt off,
exactly.
make sure.
Yeah.
I think I know the answer to this, but would you recommend Gentech and Concord to others?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So I just want to ask, we kind of talked about your new facility, we talked that you're interested in hiring elite scientists. Is there anything else that's on the horizon for Cellibre that you want to let the Gentech and Concord and scientific community know about, new products that are coming, just anything at all?
I mean, I think Spiros hit on it a little bit, coming towards the end of next year, we're going to be moving into our new facility, new space. We're going to be tripling in size, and bringing on our pilot fermentation capabilities, our pilot plant capabilities, not only to produce but also to purify and extract
Right.
molecules. And so, I think it's going to be a very exciting year, 2023, in terms of what we're going to be able to do. And in terms of other products, like I said, we're not a cannabinoid company, we're a synthetic biology company. We have lots of other ideas, in the pipeline. This just happens to be our first application. And so, without going into details, we're working on a few other things. And so,
Yep.
look forward to sharing those when the time is right.
All right, stay tuned. Keep your eyes on
Super
Cellibre.
excited, guys.
Okay, so Alexis, do you have any follow-up questions? Otherwise, we're going to move into the lightning round.
It was such a pleasure to meet you guys. My question would be just about, are you enjoying the science, and what's the most exciting part of your day when you walk into Cellibre?
I mean, I thoroughly enjoy the science. I think in my career, I sort of transitioned out of the lab, and being here at a startup, I get to go back into the lab quite a bit, and do some experiments from time to time, put on my lab coat. And so that balance, going into the lab, generating data, working with the scientists, at the bench, sharing ideas on the fly, and hearing their excitement is really, the highlight of my day. When they get data and they're sharing that data with us in terms of, look at this result, this is so cool, right? That, seeing young scientists sort of, mature and come up with ideas and test those ideas and, flourish, that's the best part of my day.
What a great answer.
Yeah, for me, is Monday is not a bad day anymore.
I love that.
You're the t-shirt.
I love that.
So I don't hate Mondays.
Yeah.
So, and I think that speaks for the rest of our team. I mean, you see people coming here and they're excited and they want to work. As far as I'm concerned, is like I said, it's I would prefer to be here than be at home for that
I
matter.
feel you. I feel the same way about my company.
So this is a great feeling. And that's not to say that in companies that we worked before, even our previous company, they were good companies, but you were getting to a point that you're just a wheel in a big machine,
Yeah.
and sometimes you feel like what you do doesn't really matter sometimes,
Yeah.
In a small company like ours, everybody's work matters. So we don't have the luxury of having 10 people doing the same thing, and if one of them one day doesn't show up or doesn't perform, you say whatever, this is not Pfizer. So everybody's important, and getting to interact with these people and brainstorm and get all this new exciting data. Every time we come here, every time analytical data come through, everybody's going to somebody's office and look at this cool result. Oh, this thing didn't work. So it's very exciting. I mean, I gotta say, I never stop working. Even one of the weekends, I send emails to people. I'm like, I try not to bother too many, just Nicky and Ben, or not our employees, about new ideas and things we should be doing. So it's a very exciting place to be.
That's awesome. Yeah, we can
That's-
definitely feel your passion, which is like so
the
great.
common theme with the cannabis science. I mean, everything is not figured out, right? And that's what science is about, the discovery.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, guys, we're moving into the exciting lightning round. This is a critical part of the interview. Now, you don't have to think very hard. I'm just going to throw it out, and you say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oops.
Okay, we'll go back and forth.
All right.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Oh, vanilla.
2 vanillas? Vanilla it up.
Vanillas.
Alexis, why don't you jump in? Chocolate or vanilla?
I would do chocolate.
Okay. All right. Window or aisle?
Window.
Aisle.
Aisle.
I'm window. Okay. Dogs or cats?
Dogs, definitely.
Dogs.
I'm a cat person.
Alexis, you're really the outlier here. If we were doing data.
I took dogs.
You would be
I love my
a,
dogs.
well, you'd be a, all right. Okay. Book or a movie?
Movie these days.
Movie.
Probably movie.
Movie. You gonna go book?
I'm gonna go audiobook.
All right. Country or city?
City.
Country.
City.
All right. I think I know the answer, but I have to ask it. Are each of you see yourself more as like a big picture kind of visionary person or very detail orientated?
I would say big picture, mostly.
Big picture for sure.
Big picture for sure.
Okay. Would you rather be camping or spending a night at the Ritz?
Ooh, that's
Ooh,
a difficult one.
I'm interested.
I'll do it.
I'm with you.
I know his
Camping.
answer.
That's fine.
Camping.
Okay, yeah, with your Patagonia. All right, okay, Nikki's going camping. Alexis, Ritz, or will you be
I'm
camping?
all the way Ritz.
Okay, that's kind of what I
That's right.
assumed.
Bring me my Mai Tai.
All right, now are you guys early riser or a night owl?
Early riser, for sure.
Night out.
Early riser.
Okay. This is an easy one. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Like depends on the month.
Okay.
Now tea right now this month.
Tea right now.
I'm gonna say I agree with you, Nikki. Depends, but right now I'm into espresso, so I'll go with the coffee.
Okay, and this is the final question because we are in San Diego, so I try to have some of the local lightning round questions. So this one is, what is your favorite kind of taco?
Puesto.
Okay, Mickey?
Grilled swordfish.
Grilled swordfish, ooh, and Alexis?
I like some carne asada.
Carne asada. Okay, so that concludes our interview, but before we start filming, we do have a special award.
Oh, okay. There we go.
So we would like to present you with this plaque.
Okay, guys.
Oh,
Congratulations.
perfect.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and so this is
Thank
made
you.
by a local artist in Arcade, New York. So he's a young guy, and this was handmade by Parker. And it's
Alright.
our pleasure to give it to you, and thank you so much for being the
Yeah,
February
thank you.
Gentech Concord Customer of the Month.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.